to have you join us on Asset Television News. I am Eugenia Solomon. First, the headlines. FCT budget passes second reading in Senate. Julius Abure threatens to expose Peter Obi, Alex Oti to public. NUC gives license to Benue State University of Agriculture. The news in detail. The Nigerian Senate has commenced moves to pass the Federal Capital Territory 2025 budget of 1.78 trillion naira. The Senate leader Okpeyemi Bamidele had led the debate on the bill after the Senate President Godswill Akpabio read the letter urging the Senate to pass the budget.
On the general principles of the FCT Statutory Appropriation Bill 2025. The bill was read for the first time today, being Wednesday, 14th day of May 2025. The 2025 FCT Statutory Appropriation Bill seeks to authorize the issue from the Federal Capital Territory Administration Statutory Revenue Fund of the Federal Capital Territory Administration account the total sum of 1,783,708,392 naira only.
Well, after the debate, the senators unanimously passed the bill for second reading and thereafter referred to the Senate Committee on FCT to revert back in 1 week.
All intent and purposes, we have seen the revolutionary infrastructure taking place. And all we need to do as the State House of Assembly of the FCT is to keep on tracking revenues and the utilization of those revenues. And then Senator Alero had also made mention and Abiru on the issues of extending these legacies to other areas of concern, particularly education and security. It is imperative by the time the FCT minister spent his 4 years here, I am sure this city will remember the very fundamental work that he has done. All of us who have lived in this city for quite some time will agree that talking about doing things differently, this is what the current FCT minister is doing. We are seeing more action everywhere. And we all know that you cannot have a beautiful omelette unless you break some nice eggs. So you need budgetary support to sustain the infrastructural development that we have seen. And I am also aware, going around, that areas that have been neglected in the past, where the natives or low-density areas, the current minister is extending infrastructure to those areas. If you go to the suburbs, you will see that a lot of work is being done to open up these areas with roads and other necessary infrastructure. But with this opportunity I've given to me, Mr. President, I want to speak as a land economist, land resource economist. I'm an estate surveyor and valuer. I'm a fellow of the Nigerian Institute of Estate Surveyors and Valuers. I want to speak on something that has been worrying me, which is the high cost of land in the FCT. Lands have become so exorbitant. And last year, when we debated the bill, I pointed out that the only way we can bring high cost of land down is by opening up new areas. Abuja is planned in a concentric circle. From the center, we develop outwards. There are so many layouts in Abuja that have been allocated to individuals, but infrastructures are not be provided those places. That is what is making the prices of land to be very all intent and purpose.
Well, the bill, according to the Senate, seeks to amend to, among other things, address infrastructure development and job creation, as well as other critical sectors like education, health, agriculture, amongst others.
A bill for an act to authorize the issue from the Federal Capital Territory Administration's Statutory Revenue Fund of the Federal Capital Territory Administration account the total sum of 1,883,823,392 naira only.
A breakdown of the bill shows that 150 billion naira is for personal cost, 343 billion naira is earmarked for overhead cost, while the balance of 1.28 trillion naira is for capital projects. Now, the House of Representatives Committee on Public Petitions has adjourned hearing a petition seeking the National Assembly to take over Benue and Zamfara state houses of assembly to May 28th, while the chairman of the committee, Bitrus Lowry, PDP Adamawa, gave the ruling at the resumption of the hearing in Abuja. He said that the adjournment became necessary as the committee had been served court documents notifying it that the matter is currently in court. Lowry said the suit filed on May 5th, 2025 at the Federal High Court Makudi Division had been adjourned to May 19th. The chairman also said that the leadership of the Benue State House of Assembly had also written a letter to the Senate and House of Representatives Benue caucuses seeking an interaction over the matter. The leadership crisis that has engulfed the Labour Party has further deepened as a factional national chairman, Julius Abure, has threatened to expose the 2023 presidential candidate of the party, Peter Obi, and Governor Alex Oti over allegations of corruption and financial mismanagement. At a press conference in Abuja, Abure vowed to expose the two leaders of the party if they provoked him further. He, however, denied receiving funds from either Obi or Oti during the 2023 general elections and dared them to publicly disclose any money they claimed to have given to him or the party. The embattled factional chairman of the Labour Party said that he had maintained silence for the sake of party's unity, adding, however, that he is now ready to go public with damaging revelations if pushed further. Abure particularly accused Governor Oti of making no financial contribution to the party during the elections, despite public appearances suggesting otherwise. Meanwhile, barring any last-minute change of plan, the National Working Committee, NWC, of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, is set to hold a crucial meeting today to deliberate on modalities for the forthcoming National Executive Committee, NEC, meeting as the crisis over the party's national secretaryship continues to fester. The meeting comes amid fresh threats from the Southeast Zonal Caucus, which has warned that it may be forced to exit the party if its nominee, Sunday Ude Okoye, is not ratified as national secretary. The leadership tussles between Senator Samuel Anyao and Ude Okoye over the national secretary positions remains at the heart of the party's internal strife. This is despite a consensus among most PDP governors to replace Anyao, who contested and lost the 2023 Imo State governorship election with a new nominee from the Southeast. Asset Television News will make a return after the breather. Stay with us. Welcome from that break. If you are just joining us now, you're watching the news on Asset Television. The National Universities Commission, NUC, has granted provisional license to Benue State University of Agriculture, Science and Technology, bringing the number of state-owned universities to 68 and the total number in Nigeria to 299. Executive Secretary NUC, Professor Abdullahi Ribadu, while presenting the license to Benue State Governor Hyacinth Alia, represented by the Deputy Governor Samuel Ode, he noted that the newly licensed institution becomes the second state-owned university and is located at Ihu in Bandikia local government area of the state.
Not all of them at the same time if you wish, but then you let us know which programs you want to start immediately, and then our team will check, and then give a report, and then give you the nod to commence. As you can see in the letter, we have indicated that by this letter, we are also copying the letter to the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board. We are copying the letter to NEL Fund so that the students can also enjoy the loan from NEL Fund if they wish. But if Benue State government is so magnanimous that they will offer them scholarship, they don't need to use NEL Fund, it's okay. We'll also send a copy to NYC so that they know that this is a recognized university. When the students graduate, then they can go for the compulsory national National Youth Service Corps. So with this, we hope and pray that with the enthusiasm shown by Benue State government, we believe that this university will be one of our best universities, and especially in agriculture, science and technology. So you have combined it, agriculture, science and technology. So you can use technology to develop agriculture. But all
Ribadu, while advising the delegation on the tenets of running an effective university, said they must live up to expectations. On his part, Alia's representative Ode explained that the quest for quality education remains a top priority for the people of the state.
Agriculture is a federal government-owned institution, and so as a state government, we don't really necessarily have a control over the academic programs. But I will tell you that for a state that has about a population of over 7.5 million, till this moment as I speak to you, we have students who desire to take a place, in our universities, and they still cannot get admission. We don't want that to continue to happen. So this is the need for this particular university which we have created. It is going to respond directly to the needs of our people. The Benue State University, as you know, is one of the oldest state universities in this country today. They are doing very well, but we don't want to begin to overload that university with more courses within the scope of what they are already doing. And that is why we have isolated this as a distinct academic institution that will propel agricultural production in Benue State. Agriculture.
Well, for NUC, with the right mentorship and funding, Benue State University of Agriculture, Science and Technology should become the best university for agriculture, science and technology in the country in no distant time. Candidates who have been scheduled to receive the 2025 Unified Tertiary and Matriculation Examination UTME will begin getting text messages from today. In total, at least 379,997 candidates in the 5 states of the Southeast and Lagos are expected to participate. This was confirmed by the JAMB Registrar, Professor Ishak Oloyede, during a press briefing in Abuja. Oloyede also took responsibility for what he said was a sabotage of the 2025 UTME.
JAMB, I hold myself personally responsible. As registrar of JAMB, I hold myself personally responsible including for the negligence of the service provider. And I unreservedly apologize for it. And the trauma it has affected Nigerians to, directly or indirectly. We have decided that all the candidates affected in the 157 centers of the 882 be contacted to retake their examinations. These candidates are to be contacted through text messages addressed to their registered phone number from tomorrow. Their email addresses, their profiles, and phone calls by JAMB. They are directed to reprint their examination slips for the rescheduled examination dates.
Amid the controversies over the 2025 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination (UTME) conducted by the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board (JAMB), the Registrar Professor Ishaq Oloyede apologized to Nigerians. Thousands of candidates who sat for the 2025 UTME had earlier said that they will file a lawsuit against the examination body following widespread complaints of technical glitches and incomplete questions that allegedly marred the exam. Popular education advocate and Chief Executive Officer of Educare, Alex Onya, had announced on Sunday that legal proceedings would commence at the Federal High Court against JAMB. Onya disclosed that over 8,000 affected students have formally complained about the exam's technical issues and are demanding that JAMB release detailed score sheets for verification. With that story, we end the news. Do well to follow us on all our social media platforms for more updates and programs. On behalf of the entire news crew, I am Eugenia Solomon. Thank you for watching.